Hey everyone, welcome to day 172 of our Bible in a Year Plus podcast. Today we're going to be introduced to Elihu, one of the best parts of the book of Job. Let me start with this. 17-year-old Paula was the darling of her grandparents. Oh, they loved her, they coddled her, they doted over her. But one night while they were out of town, she had been drinking and she helped herself to their car. Under the influence of alcohol, she wrecked the car and landed in the hospital for 2 days. When her grandparents found out what happened, they visited her in the hospital. And as soon as they got there, of course, Paula was falling all over herself, apologizing. She did honestly know that this was a betrayal. She was very sorry, sorrowful. In her heart, she regretted it so much, and she asked for their forgiveness and apologized very, very sincerely. So she was shocked when her grandfather said, if you really want to sincerely apologize, then you will have to repay whatever it costs to have the car repaired. Then we'll know that your apology is sincere. We love you. We want the best for you, but we cannot overlook what you've done. You must be accountable and suffer the consequences. You can pay us back out of your allowance and your part-time job. She had no idea her grandparents were going to say that, and she didn't have a lot of money, so this was a pretty big deal. But she did start to repay, and halfway through her repayment process, grandfather said he had come to believe that her apology was indeed sincere, and then he would pay the rest himself, and that is the way it turned out. But today we're going to read about this correct way of relating to God in humility and teachability, and Elihu is our teacher. So we pick up Elihu's speech in Job 32 through 36, beginning in chapter 32, verse 1 in the King James Version of the Bible with updated vocabulary. Job 32:1. So these three men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then the wrath of Elihu the son of Barachel the Buzite was kindled. The wrath of Elihu kindled against Job because he justified himself rather than God. Also, against his three friends, his wrath was kindled because they had found no answer and yet had condemned Job. And Elihu had waited till Job had spoken because they were older than he. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, then his wrath was kindled. And Elihu, the son of Barachel the Buzite, answered and said, I am young and you are very old, therefore I was afraid and dared not show you my opinion. I said, days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty gives them understanding. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Therefore I said, listen to me, I will show my opinion. See, I waited for your words, I gave ear to your reasons while you searched out what to say. Yes, I attended to you, and see, there was none of you who convinced Job or that answered his words, lest you should say, we have found out wisdom, God thrusts him down, not man. Now he has not directed his words against me, neither will I answer him with your speeches. They were amazed, they answered no more, they left off speaking. When I had waited, for they did not speak, but stood still and answered no more, I said, I will answer also my part. I will also show my opinion, for I am full of this matter, and the spirit within me constrains me. See, my belly is as wine, which has no vent. It is ready to burst like new bottles. I will speak that I may be refreshed. I will open my lips and answer. Do not let me, I ask you, accept any man's person. Neither let me give flattering titles to man. For I do not know how to give flattering titles. In so doing, my Maker would soon take me away. Chapter 33. Therefore, Job, I ask you, hear my speeches and listen to all my words. See, now I have opened my mouth, my tongue has spoken in my mouth, my words shall be of the uprightness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life. If you can answer me, set your words in order before me. Stand up. See, I am according to your wish in God's place. I also am formed out of the clay. See, my terror shall not make you afraid. afraid, neither shall my hand be heavy upon you. Surely you have spoken in my hearing, and I have heard the voice of your words, saying, I am clean without transgression, I am innocent, neither is there iniquity in me. See, he finds occasions against me, he counts me for his enemy, he puts my feet in the stocks, he marks all my paths. See, in this you are not just. I will answer you that God is greater than man. Why do you strive against him? For he does not give any account of his matters. For God speaks once, yes, twice, yet man does not perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, in slumberings upon the bed, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. He keeps back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. He is chastened also with pain upon his bed, and the multitude of his bones with strong pain, so that his life abhors bread and his soul dainty food. His flesh is consumed away, so that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. Yes, his soul draws near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there is a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his uprightness, then he is gracious to him and says, Deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be fresher than a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray to God, and he will be favorable to him, and he shall see his face with joy, for he will render unto him, unto man, his righteousness. He looks upon men, if any say, I have sinned and perverted that which was right, and it did not profit me. Then he will deliver his soul from going to the pit, and his life shall see the light. See, all these things God works oftentimes with man, to bring back his soul from the pit, to be enlightened with the light of the living. Mark well, O Job, listen to me, hold your peace, and I will speak. If you have anything to say, answer me, speak, for I desire to justify you. If not, listen to me, hold your peace, and I shall teach you wisdom. Chapter 34. Furthermore, Elihu answered and said, Hear my words, O you wise men, and give ear to me, you who have knowledge, for the ear tests words as the mouth tastes food. Let us choose judgment, let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job has said, I am righteous, and God has taken away my judgment. Should I lie against my right? My wound is incurable without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinks scorning like water, who goes in company with the workers of iniquity and walks with wicked men? For he has said, It profits a man nothing that he should delight himself with God. Therefore, listen to me, you men of understanding. Far be it from God that he should do wickedness, and from the Almighty that he should commit iniquity. For the work of a man shall be rendered back to him, and cause every man to find according to his ways. Yes, surely God will not do wickedly, neither will the Almighty pervert judgment. Who has given him charge over the earth, or who has disposed the whole world? If he sets his heart upon a man, if he gathers unto himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh shall perish together, and man shall turn again into dust. If now you have understanding, hear this, listen to the voice of my words. Shall even he who hates right govern? And will you condemn him who is most righteous? Is it fit to say to a king, You are wicked, and to princes, You are ungodly? How much less to him who does not accept the persons of princes, nor regard the rich more than the poor, for they are all the work of his hands. In a moment they shall die, and the people shall be troubled at midnight and pass away, and the mighty shall be taken away without hand. For his eyes are upon the ways of man, and he sees all his goings. There is no darkness nor shadow of death, where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. For he will not lay upon man more than right, that he should enter into judgment with God. He shall break in pieces mighty men without number, and set others in their place. Therefore he knows their works, and he overturns them in the night, so that they are destroyed. He strikes them as wicked men in the open sight of others, because they turned back from him and would not consider any of his ways, so that they cause the cry of the poor to come to him, and he hears the cry of the afflicted. When he gives quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hides his face, who then can see him? Whether it is done against a nation or against a man alone, that the hypocrite does not reign, lest the people be ensnared. Surely it is fit to be said unto God, I have endured chastisement. I will not offend any more. That which I do not see, teach me. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more. Should it be according to your mind, he will repay whether you refuse or whether you choose, and not I. Therefore, speak what you know. Let men of understanding tell me, and let a wise man listen to me. Job has spoken without knowledge, and his words were without wisdom. My desire is that Job may be tried to the end because of his answers for wicked men. For he adds rebellion to his sin. He claps his hands among us and multiplies his words against God. Chapter 35. Elihu spoke and said, Do you think this to be right, that you said, My righteousness is more than God's? For you said, What advantage will it be unto you, and what profit shall I have if I am cleansed from my sin? I will answer you, and your companions with you. Look to the heavens, and see the clouds which are higher than you. If you sin, what do you do against him? Or if your transgressions are multiplied, what do you do to him? If you are righteous, what do you give him? Or what does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness may hurt a man as you are, and your righteousness may profit the Son of Man. By reason of the multitude of oppressions, they make the oppressed to cry. They cry out by reason of the arm of the mighty. But none say, Where is God my Maker, who gives songs in the night? Who teaches us more than the beasts of the earth, and makes us wiser than the birds of heaven? There they cry, but none give answer, because of the pride of evil men. Surely God will not hear vanity, neither will the Almighty regard it. Although you say you shall not see him, yet judgment is before him. Therefore trust in him. But now, because it is not so, he has visited in his anger, yet he knows it not in great extremity. Therefore Job opened his mouth in vain. He multiplies words without knowledge. Chapter 36. Elihu also proceeded and said, Surely suffer me a while, and I will show you that I have yet to speak on God's behalf. I will bring my knowledge from afar, and will ascribe righteousness to my Maker. For truly my word shall not be false. He who is perfect in knowledge is with you. See, God is mighty, and does not despise any. He is mighty in strength and wisdom. He does not preserve the life of the wicked, but gives right to the poor. He does not withdraw his eyes from the righteous, but with kings they are on the throne. Yes, he establishes them forever, and they are exalted. And if they are bound in fetters and in cords of affliction, then he shows them their work and their transgressions that they have exceeded. He opens also their ear to discipline, and commands that they return from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, then they shall spend their days in prosperity, and their years in pleasures. But if they do not obey, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge. But the hypocrites in heart heap up wrath. They do not cry when he binds them. They die in youth, and their life is among the unclean. He delivers the poor in his affliction, and opens their ears in oppression. Even so, he would have removed you out of the narrows into a broad place where there is no narrowness, and that which should be set on your table should be full of fatness. But you have fulfilled the judgment of the wicked. Judgment and justice take hold on you, because there is anger. Beware lest he take you away with a stroke. Then a great ransom cannot deliver you. Will he value your riches? No, not gold, nor all the forces of strength. Desire not the night, when people are cut off in their place. Take heed, do not regard iniquity, for this you have chosen rather than affliction. See, God exalts by his power. Who teaches like him? Who has assigned him his way, or who can say, You have worked iniquity? Remember that you magnify his work, which men see. Every man may see it afar off. See, God is great, and we do not know him, neither can the number of his years be searched out. For he makes small the drops of water, they pour down rain according to the vapor of it, and the clouds drop and distill upon man abundantly. Also, can any understand the spreadings of the clouds, or the noise of his dwelling place? See, he spreads his light upon it and covers the bottom of the sea, for by them he judges the people. He gives food in abundance. With clouds he covers the light and commands it not to shine by the cloud that comes between. The noise of it shows concerning him, the cattle also concerning the vapor. And that concludes Job chapter 36. All right, well, as we said, chapters 32 through 36 are the words of Elihu. This is Elihu's big 6-chapter speech, and it's like a breath of fresh air. Elihu is very wise, and the Lord has no rebuke, no reprimand for Elihu, like he has a reprimand for the other 3 counselors of Job. So Elihu is great, and many things he says are just like what God himself says. And so this is great. And you see that Elihu says in chapter 34, verse 31, surely it is appropriate. I love this. Surely is it appropriate to be said unto God, I have endured chastisement. I will not offend any more. That which I do not see, teach me. If I have done wrong, I will do it no more. Every phrase of that is so important, and it has to do, again, with a proper attitude of humility and teachability in the presence of God, and we have to have this all through our life. That's why Elihu says, surely it is always appropriate to say this to God. It's always appropriate to say this. I have endured chastisement. Sometimes the Lord brings big chastening to arrest us in our waywardness. This could be a real hit to our finances, a real hit to our health, a real hit to important relationships, big things. So sometimes he brings big chastenings. But sometimes these are just little reprimands in your heart, a little talking to in your conscience. And it is always appropriate for us to hear these little reprimands. They happen probably every day. You shouldn't have done that. You didn't do a good job with that. That could have been handled better, like that. Little reprimands, besides the big ones where our finances or health or loved ones take a major hit. But these little reprimands, surely it is appropriate, says Elihu. It is always appropriate to say to God, I have endured chastisement. I heard your reprimand. I hear you. And I will not offend any more. And then always it's appropriate to say, that which I still don't see, teach me. I'm sure I still don't understand. Teach me more. See that teachability, humility and teachability. That which I see not, teach thou me. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more. You see, I'm repentant. From this day forward, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to do that. I'm teachable. I hear you, and I've endured the reprimand. I got it, and I'm not going to do it anymore. It's always appropriate to do that. We'll say more about that at the end. In chapter 35, verse 2, we see that Elihu rightly evaluates Job's problem. He says, do you think it is right when you say, my righteousness is more than God's? And Job has been saying that, and he wasn't supposed to say it. He was saying, in essence, all through this, that God is just being too picky. And Elihu says, do you really think that's right for you to accuse God of being less righteous than you, being too picky? Is that right? And Job has been doing this. This is Job's big mistake all through the book, and I'm just going to remind you what it sounds like. In chapter 7, verse 20, Job says, why have you set me as a target against you so that I am a burden to myself? See, it's sort of accusing, right? Why have you made me your target? And from chapter 1 and 2 of the book of Job, we know that's not what's happening here. God is setting Job a very special window of opportunity. He's not a target, but Job doesn't see it, and he accuses God of being mean. In chapter 13, verse 24, why do you hide your face and hold me for your enemy? See, once again, a false accusation. The Lord didn't think of Job as his enemy. The Lord paid Job the highest compliment imaginable when he was talking to the devil in chapters 1 and 2. He says, have you seen my servant Job, that he's perfect and upright? I mean, that's not an enemy. In chapter 23, verse 3, Job says, oh, that I knew where I might find him, that I might come even to his judgment seat. I would order my cause before him. I would fill my mouth with arguments. Oh, if I could just talk to the Lord, I would set him straight. And Elihu says, do you think it's right to say my righteousness is more than God's? That's what you've been doing. And it's true. That is what Job had been doing. He said, I'm going to fill my mouth with arguments. I'm going to set God straight. In chapter 27, verse 6, He said, my righteousness I hold fast. I will not let it go. My heart shall not reproach me as long as I live. Well, his heart should have reproached him for thinking that his righteousness was more than God's. So he wasn't okay in saying that. In chapter 32, verse 2, the writer of Job says that Elihu's thoughts were appropriate. The anger of Elihu was kindled against Job because he justified himself rather than God. So Elihu was angry, and he deserved to be angry because Job justified himself rather than justifying God. That's not okay. You can't do that. And then finally, one more time in chapter 40, verse 8, this is again according to God's testimony at the end of the book of Job. God says to Job, will you overturn my judgment? Will you condemn me so that you can be righteous? You say, I'm too picky. I got it wrong. I need to be set straight. You'll stand by your integrity, but you won't stand by mine. Is that what you think? You're going to overturn my judgment? So you see, that was Job's big fault. And Elihu was right. And Job's fault was that he imagined that God was being mean, that God was being too picky, that God was being unfair. And he shouldn't have done that. In that sense, Job was wrong. So Job is righteous and wonderful, but he was wrong in that. So what should be our great life lesson today? To go back to Elihu's words. Surely it is always appropriate to be said unto God, I have endured chastening. I hear your reprimand. I will do it no more. That which I still don't understand, teach me. I want to learn. I'm teachable. And if I have done iniquity, I will do it no more. I'm going to change from this day forward. That is always appropriate. And we wish for God's input and his insight. We wish to learn from our setbacks, from his reprimands, from his chastening. And so you know what our prayer has to be today. Oh no, here it goes. Surely it's right to say this to God. So that's what we're going to say. And I hope you'll pray in your heart as I pray out loud what Elihu taught us to pray about humility and teachability. So here we go. Father God, we hear what Elihu has taught us, and so now this is our prayer. We have borne chastisement. We have felt your reprimand, and we will do it no more. That which we still don't see, teach us. We're teachable. We want to know. We want your input. That which we still don't see, teach to us. And if we have done iniquity, we will do it no more. From this day forward, we're going to do it differently. By your grace, with your help, we're going to be better. We're going to do this right. We're going to fix this. And so this is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, okay, that's a big prayer, and it's always appropriate. So thank you for spending day 172 with me in our Bible in a Year Plus podcast. And you know what I'm going to say? I sure hope I get to see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.